Everybody, this is your girl Wayna. You're listening to hiphopgame.com. Keep it locked to Culture 6.
Culture 6, you know what I'm saying? This is where that real hip-hop is.
And you are now checking out Culture 6
Experience.
Check this out, man. It's the H9C.
What up, man? This is Ghost.
This is Anthony Hamilton. Big shout out to Culture 6.
Welcome to the main event.
Grammy-nominated artist Wayna. How does that sound to you? Is that still odd to hear?
Yeah, it is. It's really surreal. I mean, it's amazing that God can open up a door that would seem to be so difficult to do as an independent artist. So I think it's really, more than anything, is giving me the gumption to reach for things that would logically be out of my reach, given that I don't have a label or big resources behind me.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing. I'm proud that, we stuck to our guns and just, always sought to make the best music that we could instead of the kind of music that we thought would win according to what the industry was supporting. And I'm really proud that there's, that the Academy is what it's supposed to be, which is, a recognizer of quality art. So, it really says to me that, every artist has a chance, because there certainly wasn't any kind of machine or anything going around, for me. So, it's funny, like, there was even, there were a couple of folks who I was entertaining, working with at the time. And when the first round of the nominations came out, I asked them, so what can we do to, kind of promote the fact that we got past the first stage and probably get a nomination. And just unanimously, they were like, Christmas will not come early. Just don't even think about this, because they spend tons of money and, resources, and it's political and yada, yada. And look, it just goes to show you, when you believe that big things are possible and you work for them, every now and then something amazing will happen.
And that it has. How has that affected your career moving forward? I mean, has it helped you as far as, getting gigs or label situations, or what is that notch on your resume? How has that kind of helped out?
Well, it definitely raises the profile and is a huge, sort of industry kind of stamp. So folks take it as a sign that, this is worth listening to. So it's definitely opened up doors that were closed before. Definitely in terms of gigs, it's been great. I've been traveling a lot the past 6 months since the Grammys. Been really quite busy, and it's a lot easier to get gigs and to make a living doing gigs too, when you have this in your arsenal. So it's been a blessing, and the quality of people that I've gotten to work with, because they've heard about the work because of the nomination, has been great too. Like, I'm getting to collaborate with Wajid and Wale, and of course all of the wonderful artists here that I've been working with. So it's definitely been a huge push in the right direction. We still got to win one, so I'm inspired to do that. That's the next goal.
Right, you have an amazing voice. One of the things I really noticed, though, is your lyrics are really, really good. Like, how much of your craft do you really put into the writing? Because it's really good.
I think for me, the writing is probably more important than anything else, because you get to say something substantive in a song, and I think that's one of the challenges, especially as an R&B artist, because R&B has become kind of watered down and
yeah.
It's not as substantive and content driven as it used to be, and definitely not as much as hip hop, which I'm definitely a fan of. So I think it's a fun opportunity to say something in a song that you haven't maybe heard put in the same way, or a subject matter
right.
discussed in the same way. So it makes the art meaningful, I think. So being an artist wouldn't be half as exciting if it weren't, if it didn't give the opportunity to comment on things that you care about.
Right. Now, speaking of the writing part of it, I was reading on your website, your bio, I think it was, and you used to write for the White House, for the Clinton administration. Is that did I read that right?
Yeah, it was a whole other life I had before I got into music. No, I come from Ethiopia. We have a kind of traditional sort of society where they put a lot of emphasis on becoming a professional, and I was on this track to be a writer, and I was studying English and communications, and I ended up doing an internship at the White House, and I met this really amazing guy who was a speechwriter, the first African American to ever serve as a presidential speechwriter, and he kind of took me under his wing, and I really enjoyed the office atmosphere, and thought, okay, well, let me prove to myself that I can, get a regular 9 to 5 job, and do something to basically put my education to use and make my family proud. So that's kind of why I did it. But it wasn't long before I was in the situation that I knew, this isn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And it was really only a matter of time before I got up the courage to do what I really wanted to do.
Here you are now. I mean, your last album was really, really good. I mean, I sat after I finally found you. I got my wife's iPod and I started listening, and really great job. I mean, front to back. Was that a lot of you putting it together? Was it a big collaborative effort?
Actually, I had to kind of take the steering wheel because, I think as an indie artist, it's you're kind of forced to be put in a situation where you do things that maybe you didn't anticipate doing in the beginning. And when I started, I kind of had people around me who were sort of guiding the ship, and then things didn't really go anywhere. So I sort of had to take control and executive produce the project. But I was fortunate enough to have a real community of amazing producers and artists in the area who gave me great music to work from, and or who could develop the ideas that I started with. So it came together. I think I always grew up knowing that I wanted to do music, so it always felt like a temporary stop for me. But practically speaking, it's hard to make a living doing music, and of course my family was conscious of, and worried, can you have a career, do you have a livelihood doing this? But luckily, my family pretty much knew that I wanted to do this from the time I was little, and I was always singing in one thing or another from the time I was about 9 till through college. So it didn't really come as a surprise to anybody, but it took a minute for me really to I guess you can get comfortable in feeling like you have the potential to do something, and then actually doing it is a whole nother level of risk and commitment. And I think getting to the point where I could walk into a dinner party and meet somebody new and say, yeah, I'm an artist, or no, I'm not a writer or a professional, I'm an art, I'm a singer.
Right.
It took me a while to be able to get to that point, but once I did, it really was a no-brainer. I have a song, I just finished a remix of a song on my most recent project called Billie Club. I did a remix with Wale.
He's awesome. I've always been a big fan of his.
Yeah, he's great. He's really great, and we're really proud that he's representing for our city. He came through and did a verse for me, so we were just mixing the song down today, so it came out great.
What is your dream collaboration right now? You can work with any artist. What would your dream collaboration be right now?
It would be Andre 3000, no question, hands down.
Really?
Yeah, I love him. He's probably, I think, my favorite modern day artist. I think, I like being around risk takers and people who will push me out of my comfort zone, and something tells me he would be exactly that dude.
All right, if you were, I know this is a long time down the road, but theoretically, if you were creating one last song, and it was going to be your last song, your legacy song, you could have anybody produce it, you could have anybody guest feature on it, and it could be about anything in the world, what would this song be?
Wow. I guess being from Ethiopia, I've always wanted to do something sort of like a We Are the World, where it's kind of like a tribute to my people and a call for us to kind of come together. So I just came from Toronto. I did this youth slam with these young kids who are, basically transitioning into adulthood and dealing with all the ways in which they are still sort of like an outsider and living in a modern day world. And I think it would be great to do something for them and for our community, and just lift each other up and maybe tear down a few stereotypes. So yeah, it would probably be something related to Africa or Ethiopia, and If it would be my last collaboration ever, it would probably be Stevie Wonder.